Storytelling in literature parallels our world, using the characters to reflect the human traits and beliefs riddled throughout society. Many of these morals are viewed highly by the public, but there is one that no one wants to be associated with, one who mistreats everyone around them just for personal gain. In literature, this is embodied in the Machiavellian archetype, and its traits are detested by the world. However, through the portrayal of contrasting characters, Robert Browning uses his poems as a social commentary to reveal the reach of Machiavellian evil in the Victorian era, the society he lived in. And in doing so, he reveals that the very actions we condemn are within us all. In his poem, My Last Duchess, Robert Browning utilizes the Machiavellian archetype to explain the injustice shown to women in Victorian society. By distancing himself from the character to the dramatic monologue form, and distancing the Duke from Victorian society through the Italian setting Ferrara, he's able to ironically portray the Duke's immoral statutes and beliefs, highlighting how they result in the misconduct of others. This declarative statement uses the role of curtains to symbolize the image of oppression and jurisdiction the Duke has over his visitors, portraying his love for power. The high modality language used further reinforces his arrogant, controlling behavior, revealing his self interested qualities and need for dominance. This dominance is shown particularly through the mistreatment of his wife. In this line, the Duke's casual and relaxed tone contrasts dramatically with the arduous topic of his wife's murder. This juxtaposition and shift in tonality highlights how he's oblivious to his immoral mistreatment of his wife, who he describes metaphorically as his objects. By associating his betrothed with his possessions, the Duke continues to dehumanize his wife, portraying his belief that women are not just men's belongings. In doing so, Browning exposes how the injustice shown to the Duke's wife stems directly from his self interested qualities and obsession with dominance and control. The Duke, much like his Victorian counterparts, only sees marriage as a vehicle for wealth, and his duplicitous nature and greed is revealed in this manipulation of the Duchess's love. Consequently, Robert Browning raises awareness of the power imbalance between men and women in private, and in doing so, reflects more broadly the mistreatment of women in the Victorian era. But his poems don't stop there. In the soliloquy of the Spanish cloister, Robert Browning challenges the stereotypical Machiavellian archetype to reveal the omnipresence of its traits in our society. Although generally depicted as cunning and successful, the Machiavellian monk is instead characterized as feeble and hypocritical, finding pleasure in imagined Schadenfreude or the fictional damnation of his fellow brother. The monk's blind hate is seen here, where the diction of the harsh phrases builds an auditory imagery of the accumulated rage felt towards Lawrence. The oxymoron of God's open wounds creates further images of disgust. However, the use of the Lord's name in vain contrasts to the casual allusions to the sacred Holy Trinity and the great text of Galatians as an adage, raising questions on the sincerity of his faith. The monk justifies his contempt by depicting a scene of Lawrence supposedly watching women bathe, but instead, the asyndeton and parallelism elongate the sight, ironically exposing the monk's own lustfulness and immoral views of women. His corruption is ultimately displayed in the brutish onomatopoeia grrr, beginning and capping off the piece, where symbolically the monk has become more beast than man. The monk is meant to be holy and set apart, yet his desire for another's suffering and the manipulation of his sworn oaths betrays his Machiavellian traits despite his impotentness. Consequently, Browning doesn't just raise awareness on the corruption within bodies of authority, but takes it another step further. By showing that even holy, upright men can be corrupted by Machiavellian traits, what's stopping us all from having them too? The soliloquy serves as a mirror, a gateway to reveal the malfeasance of the human heart, the injustice shown to women, the mistreatment of others, and the abuse of power. A heart that every duke, every monk, every person possesses. Yes, even you and me.